Okay, I'm just going to mute everybody and then we're going to get going here. And I may be a little bit fast, but just bear with me. I'll load up this video very quickly. So guys, here from the bottom, just for the new people, if you look at year 21 November 2011, you can see that Bitcoin went up. This was about 4,700%, more or less. You know, it's not accurate. 4,500, 4,700. You know, it's done this loop here. We saw another loop here, and we are now here in this loop here. And we believe that that is going to go up massively. Now, remember this, we have been talking about this granular cycle, and we are now in that granular cycle. What you see here now is just a little blurb happening here. Now, first of all, if you look at this first leg here, let me just make this a little bit larger. If you look at where we are now, that leg there is leg 1. We now have a bit of a retracement there. That is your leg 2, up till about 17 to 18 July. And I'm going to get into that very shortly. Remember this date, 17, 18 July? It's a very important date. So what you really can do from now till that time, just relax, be patient. The market is going to go nowhere. It's going to trade up and down, sideways, and come here that time, bang, it's going to explode in price. Now, because the market has to pause, think about Bitcoin as a living organism. It goes up and it drops. It goes up and it drops. It's kind of like an organism just breathing. Right now, it breathed and the market went up from 15 December to where we are now. Now it's taking a pause. It's going to breathe again. Now, I've got some really critical information that I'm going to share with you here. Remember this top here of Bitcoin, right there at the top. We said that we are going to break that high point of $20,000 by the 3rd week of January. We now believe that that is going to be broken. That top there is going to be broken in October, by the latter part of October. Guys, you better hold on to your seats. If our algorithm data is now correct, there's a speed up of the process. Remember, Bill, a while ago I came on and I said that I listened to a call of these big bankers. They are JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Digital Assets, and one or two other people. I can't remember the names now. And on that call, they were talking about the fact that they are going to run up a few coins. One of those coins are Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash. And they said that they are going to run Bitcoin up to $80,000. And I said, no, that's impossible. But if I look at the speed up of our model, suddenly it points to me to the fact that we could break the $80,000 mark, perhaps here in January or February next year. And then I had a look at breaking the all-time high, and it comes down to the latter part of October this year. Something big is brewing in cryptocurrencies, and I can't really lay my fingers on it. There's some underlying volume coming in or activity, or it's just a general market pushing upwards, or it could be part of the fact that we have hyperinflation going on all around the world. Now, for those people who don't know what hyperinflation is, hyperinflation has been happening in America under your noses. My wife was just there in America and she couldn't believe how expensive everything got in America in 1 year. But if you live in America, you don't realize it. Like, for example, chocolates have become smaller and they weigh less, but they charge you a little bit more. So people don't see it, they see the price. Your packages of salt have become smaller, but you still pay the same price. Here in Australia, for example, meat over the last only 6 months, 34% up. Milk, almost double the price. Bread and all that kind of stuff. Look, everything is going up. Now, with these tariffs that the American president is created now all over the world with Russia, China, and wherever they get stuff from, there's tariffs going on all over the place. The president of the USA is not dumb. Number one, I believe that he's pushing these tariffs. Number two, what's going to happen is the Federal Reserve will be forced to lower interest rates. They're going to lower that very, very soon. And then at one point going forward between now and the next election in America, Donald Trump is going to say, gone with tariffs. And what's going to happen? Bang. The world stock markets will explode. Gold will go up. Silver will go up. And you see now that gold is actually calculating in the rise in inflation. The rise in gold is nothing other than inflation now, right now at this point. And from the beginning of the year, remember what we said? We said that this year there's going to be no economic crash. Why? Because I was on the phone with these people. Let's not go into that, but anyway, I was on the phone with these people that said to me that they can do anything in the world stock markets. They can run it up, they can run it down, but they told me they're going to run it up. And this is why I say, not just that phone call, but I always believe that we're going to run up to 40,000 Dow. You're going to see an explosion. From the beginning of this year, we said no economic crash or big crash. I know there's people now calling that we are still going to have a 1931 crash and it's going to come. It will come. Trust me, it will come. But I don't believe just yet. But regardless, if the world stock markets like the Dow Jones crash, it's going to be parabolic for cryptos. If it will just push cryptos up higher. Now, at one point, Donald Trump will cancel the tariffs. It will explode. The stock market is going to explode, gold, silver. Now, what I see here is that we are going to head up to about 30 to 40,000 maybe here in January, and then we're going to head up higher. At this point, I don't know exactly where that is, but we can work it out. But for the purposes of this presentation, I didn't do it. But ultimately, what is going to happen, and I want to give you, just focus your attention quickly on this. We see this happening here. That is leg one. Leg three is going to take it way above $1 million. And remember what John McAfee said? Now, John McAfee said at one point that Bitcoin is going to go up way past $1 million. He will be proven correct. Okay, so this is just for the new people that are here. We're heading up the cycle. We are going to have these cycles that come down. Maybe these will be shorter lived, like 6 months, 7 months. But this is more or less what we look at. Now, what I'm going to do is to focus, and we're going to get quickly into Bitcoin here. I'm going to give you an overall idea of what is happening in Bitcoin. I'm just waiting for my chart there to appear.
Marius, is the Facebook announcement of crypto next week a significant event?
I think in any terms, it would be regarded as a significant event. There are millions of people that don't like Facebook, but there are millions of people who like Facebook and that will get involved with it. It's significant in my opinion because it's a huge company that is adopting cryptocurrencies. It's good for the cryptocurrencies in general. You can't stop cryptos anymore. Nobody can. So in that sense, it's a good sign. Now, just for the new people that are here, I quickly want to focus here on the bottom where you see double A, double B. You see the CC plus there, and you see the DD. Now, this is part of, if I can just get that circle, just the elliptical circle here, that is part of the algorithm cycle on a larger scale. Okay, and I'm just going to leave that there. And it's just some people ask me, what do I mean with the fact that we are heading into a new cycle? Can you see here on the top there, I say that we are now in a new ABCD cycle. As soon as we finish D, now remember, Bitcoin still has to go back into D, into this panel there. And you'll see this lines up with all the videos we've done and all the messages on Telegram. Let's go back and have a look here at an older report quickly. This is the Bitcoin chart of 31 January 2019. This is where we said that we can have an A, B, C, D. This happens on a downtrend where the market reverses and then you have a reversal of the pattern. And this is how we identify the low in the market. We called that one the low in the market. But the market 7 days later dropped a little bit lower so that we were out by a week or so. But nonetheless, within that week, we called the low. And so the risk adverse investors can now buy back. And that's because of the ABCD algorithm cycle. That created another mini cycle and this created another mini cycle. We then went up to 7.2 and higher to C++. And the 4 cycles create one big cycle. Now, if you look at this, your first cycle was 1, 2, 3, and then 4, the one that we finished now. So we've got this 4 cycles here. And it's going to get a little bit messy, but I just want to give you an idea of what I see overall in our algorithm data. The next one here, see this A, that B, we're going to have a C, and then we're going to have a D again. And that one there is going to be something similar to this. And then what happens? We get another big circle. and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We should have 4 of these circles, which are your algorithm cycle patterns. Here right at the top is another one. I'm not going to draw that in, but you get the idea. Okay, now let's focus on where Bitcoin is now. Since you have the large view picture, remember this, guys, we've always said that Bitcoin is not in a bear market. This is a granular cycle, the likes that the world has never ever seen. In a granular cycle, there is no bear market. It's just a retracement. A retracement cannot be called a bear market. The reason people call it a bear market is because it went on for a year. And people say, yeah, that is a bear market. There's a huge downtrend. But they forget, when you look at the big view picture, we look right up to the year 2032. If you play out that entire cycle, and we've got it all planned out, you can go back to the January and February and December videos, go and have a look there. We talk about the granular cycle, and I may do it again at one point and do an update. The granular cycle just shows a massive uptrend with small retracements. Now, unfortunately, when you get into the future and you look back, you're then going to say, that was no bear market. Now, because our algorithm can see in the future, we get into the future and look back. And that is how we project what we see here. Now, what you see on your chart here now, and I'm just going to make this a little bit larger here. We are now here with Bitcoin, where Bitcoin came to this high point in block CC+. I'm just going to wait for the screen to appear on your side. Okay, there it is. Yeah, just keep that open there, thanks, Wendy, so I can see there. So we are now in this blue box or red box CC+. That is where the high point came. And then it dropped way back into this area here, this blue box here. And we can now find that we are going to go sideways here. And now while Bitcoin is dropping, okay, it's very important to understand now. Remember here at the top, we said that Bitcoin is going to drop and certain altcoins are going to start moving upwards. You will probably notice now that Litecoin has had a spike. Let's just have a look at Litecoin quickly there. Just earlier this morning, it actually had a spike. So you can see here that Litecoin has moved upwards here. We didn't have the convergence like I thought we're going to have in December of 2007, where Bitcoin dropped and then where Litecoin went up massively. I don't believe that is going to play out, and I'll show you now why. But Litecoin is still moving on. I hope you do have Litecoin in your portfolio. Let's just go back to Bitcoin here. Now, let's just wait for that screen to come up there. Yeah, a lot of lag. Okay, there it goes. So we believe that Litecoin is going to go sideways in this blue box. We just need to have a little bit of patience. Now have a look at this Python y-axis here, this purple line here. I believe that that purple line could create support here and that Bitcoin could bump off that if it goes a little bit lower. But in the next hour and 15 minutes, we are going to form the new candle. I believe that that candle could be a green candle going upwards. We are going to have a little bit of a drop. And look, I never like to have a look at these day chart movements because I'm not interested in that. You know, I'm interested in the long-term move. The long-term move tells me that we are going to move sideways and come here at this point, the market is going to move sideways upwards and then break out. What I can tell you is that this date here of 18 June 2019 is an significant date. The reason is, let's go and get the calculator up here. That lines up with Sunday in America, 16, 17 that Monday, and then 18. On Monday the 17th, I believe that we are going to have a drop. This is why I say that if you want to get back into the market now, you simply buy now, you ride it up here till about 16, 17, 18. That Monday we're going to have a drop, and that drop could be significant, just down, and it could touch this Python y-axis. But from there onwards, around about the 20 or 25 will be the low point, maybe going into the end of the month. Then we're going to move upwards. The date that I want you to figure or keep in your mind is the date of 17 July 2019. And that date is purely based upon algorithm analysis and the algorithm cycle, the 53-day cycle. And many of you that followed us, have a look at the 53-day cycle. Every 53 days, 4 times in a row. Let me just go back. If I look at this point here, and I make another 53-day cycle here. Now we identified this a long time early. You'll see here right at that point, let's just put a vertical or a vertical line in there. You'll see right at this point, that is where Bitcoin broke out, and that is also the BB block. Now the other 53-day cycle starts there. You get 53 days, you get a big uptrend. And then you get 53 days again, and that is where we had the indecision in the market where we couldn't say if it's going to break up or down, but luckily the market broke out. If it broke downwards, I would have said sold. Sell everything, because then Bitcoin would have gone down to 2,000. But in this case, we had an uptrend moving upwards, and then your other 53-day cycle is this one here, where we had that big move upwards to form the high point, and just touching in that red box there, and now moving downwards. Now we're going to go sideways, and come here, the next 53-day cycle is 17 July. That will complete phase one of this entire cycle. Then we're going to get phase two. Then we're going to get phase 3 and 4. And this is why I said, guys, we've got 2 years to make huge money. And the money is going to come. I'm going to show you now. You just need to be a little bit patient. Now, one thing that I didn't really want to do, but I'll probably do it here just so you can see what we are showing here, is this line here is most probably going to form something like this, which is called a bullish pennant. But let me show you that nonetheless. Now, if you take that cross there, exactly there where it crossed over the Python y-axis, and you use that as your timeline, it comes right down to this point of about 6 July, where we're going to see a breakout. Now, do expect this line here perhaps to break through that support and again drop here into the Python y-axis. Now, I'm going to give you a warning. This drop here could potentially go as low as 4416. I don't believe it's going to go that low, but I want you to think about this. What we see, remember I said that we are redeveloping our algorithm, and we will be able to see if these whales are going to sell Bitcoin. They may come here and manipulate the market and sell Bitcoin and drop it as low as they can. It's going to be very difficult for them to do it, because the first thing is we have to go below the Python y-axis. If they can do that, the next support is most probably going to be the MS52. But if that breaks, the next support here is this line here. So we may go down to 5.7. But if that happens, guys, it will only be for a day or two, because these whales will drop the market by selling some Bitcoin very quickly, big amounts, and they'll come back and buy it on the low. Most people will sell, and the whales will grab your Bitcoin or your other cryptos. At this moment, I realize that these whales are only interested in buying Bitcoin for some reason. It's crazy what's happening. There are billionaires and multi-millionaires. They are fighting each other to buy Bitcoin. This is why I say 1 billionaire, and there are thousands of billionaires in the world, 1 billionaire can disrupt Bitcoin completely. Now, the exchanges won't really allow it, to sell a huge amount of Bitcoin, but they are so smart that they can have 10, 12, 15 exchanges and they drop it all at the same time. They're so smart. I want you to be aware of this, that there is a probability that it can happen. When that happens and you don't have time to sell, don't worry, because the market will come back very strong. I believe if there's no manipulation, this one here is going to go up to about this point here, breaking out of that cycle there, out of this pattern. Let me just complete that. This is your cycle pattern. Come here at this point here. Let me just move that there. Come here at this point here. We're going to see a gradual move upwards and then a breakout above this line here. And we're going to head up into this box here, which is about 11,689 as the first target. It can go as high as $14,000. There's a date that we have identified that is coming up in our algorithm, and I just need to go to the left side here. I think it was this date of, there we go, 20 January. Let me just put that in. This whole area, okay, 20 January could be the high, and that high point is about 13,126, exactly that high point of 20 January. But what I want to do is, let me just focus your attention quickly here, because we're all here, we're smart guys. Okay? Have a look at this, guys. There is a huge amount of resistance here. See all those lines there? If you go and break it up, you'll see that there's resistance. So this is why I think that we could see that Bitcoin possibly hits these levels and then stagnate. And you can see here, there's so many of them there. And then that one there on that point too. Bang, bang, bang. These are all resistance points. I believe that we are going to get down to this point here of between 11,000 and 13, maybe a spike through to 14,000, but I doubt. 14,000 comes a little bit later. When we get to that high point, we are going to have a very, very quick drop. This drop here is going to be so quick that people will be stunned, you know, because the market is going to go upwards and people are going to make so much money. Now, keep in mind this now. The market here goes sideways. This is the emotional pattern. It goes sideways and people get frustrated because I see it in people's emails. Oh, the market is not moving. It's 2 weeks. The market, you know, people need to understand, you know, that there's a 4-week pattern here. The market won't move for 4 weeks. It's going to go sideways. It will drive you emotionally insane, especially if you look at people that bought Bitcoin here on the top and they're down 10 or 20%. Or if you bought NEO, I'm going to show you what I did with NEO, for example. At this top here with NEO, I sold about 20% of my NEO. I came back here at that pink line there, the 2B algorithm MAE, and I bought a whole bunch of NEO back again. Now remember, I increased my NEO, but look at that, the market dropped a little bit further. What did I do? I bought some more. But you can understand that some people that are bought there and the market dropped a little bit lower. So now you're in that emotional pattern. If you bought a little bit higher there, you simply ride out the pattern. Look at that pink line there. Come here, it's going to break out upwards. So you just need to be patient. The money is going to come. The same as what we were patient here. If you look at this high point here, when we came to 5 April, the market went and dropped. Now, I was one of those who actually bought NEO here on the low, and I thought it's going to turn around. And then it dropped a little bit more. And if you really look at that now, and this is why I say Elliott wave theory doesn't really always work. That kind of is your A, B, C correction. From there, it should break out upwards, but then it created another leg down. Okay, so just be aware of that, guys. Elliott wave doesn't really always work. Now, this level here, I believe that we are going to trade sideways, maybe a spike upwards, a little bit higher, but come here, at that point, we are going to break out with NEO. Let me just get back to where were we in Bitcoin. Okay, now with Bitcoin, what I've done, I'm just waiting for the screen to appear there. Is that coming up there? Okay, cool. If you look at this pink line here, I believe the breakout is going to be similar like this. I copied something over from a old algorithm data, and you can actually see that this actually shows a kind of like a breakout, what it should look like. It's going to be a vertical upwards move into this block here, and then a big drop. That drop is going to be big. That drop could easily come down to, sorry, this level here. See this high point here? This high point of 30 May, that drop is going to stop, in my opinion, this point here, which is about 911, about 9,000. So keep in mind, we go sideways now, we then go up into A, then we go down into B. And I haven't shown yet what is happening after this. You know, could it go up, could it go down? But we don't want to give people that information yet, you know, because otherwise, you know, we don't want people to copy our data. This data is only for you because you subscribe and you pay for this data. We don't want to give it to other people. Lo and behold, you'll see that people will now start copying this little bullish pennant. They're going to show it's going to go up into A and B, but at least you guys know it ahead of time. Okay, guys, now this is Bitcoin. I'm not going to go through all other 18 coins, but what I want you to do, my apologies, what I want you to do is to ask questions, and then we'll go ahead and answer those questions. I've got a whole bunch of emails here. There's probably about 30 emails where people ask questions. I couldn't read them all. So if you're online here, please come in and ask your question.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about Litecoin, any update there that you have further.
Yeah, Christopher, I know. You're the Litecoin guy, man. This Christopher is going to be a multi-millionaire. Guys, I tell you this now, because he's focusing on Litecoin and he's got it. Okay. We made some mistakes there in the past, selling too quick, buying too, not quick enough, etc., etc. But I'm going to give you an indication, guys, and I think there's a little bit of confusion. And just bear with me here, Christopher. I also want to show people, when do you sell, when do you buy? Now, let's say, for example, okay, if Litecoin comes out here at the top. Now, remember, we had a failed call. That is a complete failed call. We said that Litecoin is expected to hit that 155. Now, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world, because Litecoin is very forgiving. We are going to see this pattern play out. It's going to go sideways, but it's going to go and break upwards again, and it's eventually going to hit the 155. My new target on Litecoin is well over $300. I'm not concerned about Litecoin. And to show you the pathway of Litecoin, I'm going to go to the Binance coin, the BNB coin. And I'll come back to Litecoin. But the first thing I want you to realize, have a look at this Python y-axis here. See that purple line? Litecoin dropped or moved up with this 22, the mathematical algorithm equation, that 22 MAE. It went above the Python y-axis. And you can see now here what is happening is that this MS52, this green line, is soon going to cross the Python y-axis. When it crosses that axis, that is a good signal, a buy signal. It may go a little bit more sideways, but it indicates to us that this is going to break upwards. The same here, guys, look at this. The 2B algorithm, that is a great sign where this 2B is moving above the 3B. I want that to happen. And that's going to happen in the next day or two. That here is another bullish indicator. Now keep in mind this Python y-axis. I'm now going to go to BNB and show you what's happening there. Where's BNB? And you guys remember that I said that I'm now into BNB. I just bought BNB. Okay. Just waiting for that screen to appear there, the BNB screen on your side. There we go. Okay, now have a look here at the Python y-axis, where that Python y-axis is. Do you realize that the Python y-axis is way below the moving average of this chart? You can see the brown line, the 22 MAE, the mathematical algorithm equation, is way above that purple line, this Python y-axis. Now remember here, if I make this larger, and if I go in and I want to see where the Python y-axis is, the Python y-axis came about to this point here. That is where Bitcoin is at the moment. Okay, that red line there is basically the sideways movement in Bitcoin that you see now. And Bitcoin then broke above. It's a pity that line that we can't get that going forward, but let me just draw that in actually. I'll show you where that purple line should be. So that purple line should have done something like this. And let me just make that purple. Make that maybe, it's actually a dark blue, make it purple. So if you look at that dark line here, the dark purple line turns into this light purple line. So there, exactly at that point, that is where Bitcoin broke out. So what you can expect from Bitcoin is yet this whole move. Guys, I tell you now, this whole move here is the big move that is yet to happen in Bitcoin. When I researched Binance a little bit further, I realized that Binance is way ahead of the curve of any other crypto. You're going to see that entire big move still happen in Bitcoin. Now keep in mind there, I want to bring your attention to that brown line there. Let me just make it larger again. And we're going to go back to Bitcoin as well as Litecoin. Okay, Litecoin and Bitcoin is just about there, round about in this area here. And what you're going to see next is like parabolic moves upwards. Now let me go back. I'm first going to go back to Bitcoin, and I'm just going to wait for your screen to appear there on that side.
Real quick, Marius.
Yeah, sure.
What percentage of your model portfolio do you have in BNB, for example?
20%. Now,
Okay, thank you.
now keep in mind here, there is the Python y-axis, and there is that brown line heading upwards. Okay, let's go to Litecoin. Exactly the same, guys. There's your Python y-axis. Just a little bit slow loading. There's your Python y-axis. Yeah, that's so slow. And then you have your brown line, the 22 mathematical equation going above it. Okay, now keep in mind that cross there. I want you to focus on that cross. Let's go back to BNB. There it is. Can you see what happens next? It happens this. It's going to go up. It may not be as high as this. All I want you to do is to focus. It won't play this exact pattern. Don't expect that. But I want you to focus on what happened with BNB. This is what's going to happen to Bitcoin as well as Litecoin. Now, Litecoin, let's go back to Litecoin. Very important that you understand what is happening with Litecoin. Litecoin now is just breaking up, and the profits are just rolling in for everybody. Now, what I want to focus your attention here first, guys, is let's say, for example, and I think a lot of people just misunderstand this, and this is why I just want to mention this to people. If you, for example, had 100 Litecoin here on the top, now let's say you've got 100 there. Forget about the price in US dollars. Although I show the price here on the chart, 111, 135, 151, I want you to kind of like forget about the price. We are, from the beginning of the year, I said that we are farming. We are farming for cryptos. What you want to do, you want to increase the amount of cryptos that you own. So at this high point here, what I did is I sold 20% of my Litecoin. I went and bought them back here on the bottom. Now, if I sold 20% of my Litecoin, that means that I now only have 80 Litecoin left. Okay, because 20% of that Litecoin lies now in dollar value, in either in USDT or through USD or in cash. It lies on the exchange. When Litecoin drops here right down to the bottom, when Litecoin drops here right there at the bottom, okay, I went and bought it back. So what I got now, with the same amount of money, I now got 30 Litecoin. And this is where the trick comes in. With that same amount of money, I now have 30 Litecoin. Remember, I converted my 20 into 30. If I add this now up, I have 110 Litecoin. Okay, I hope that is explainable enough to people, because you want to increase your Bitcoin and Litecoin and crypto holdings. Now, I forget about the dollar value. I just look at these drops. When we drop here, that is when I buy. Now, one other thing, I know a lot of people are saying that Litecoin is leading Bitcoin. You know, it's not really the case, guys. Let me just mute everybody there again. Although Litecoin has got this little surge, I want to take your attention here to this little cross here, the Python y-axis, and then let's go back to Bitcoin.
Hey, Marius. Marius, this is Todd.
Guys, I'm just going to mute everybody again.
Good, everybody.
Todd, just unmute yourself and
Hey,
just
Marius,
talk again.
this is Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Marius, I've noticed, you know, I've been trying to sell higher and buying back lower, but I've lost a huge percentage of my value on the last couple of these moves because Bitcoin has actually risen while I've been in a stable coin. So I know you're showing selling at 20% and buying it back, but if Bitcoin's moving up at the same time as you're out of the market, your Satoshi value is actually dropping through Tether. You know, my account has dropped significantly in the last 2 months just on the sidelines. And I'm kind of getting frustrated trying to figure out a better strategy.
Yeah, Todd, but that is not uncommon. Everybody now has lost about 30% in Bitcoin value or Satoshi value. We've spoken about that last week and the week before, and we were talking about the equation. The equation of Bitcoin, you have to remember, Bitcoin rose 192%, and most altcoins rose about 150 on average. So the altcoins are underperforming and Bitcoin is overperforming. There are certain coins like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash and a few others that have gone 400% up. While if you hold those coins, you would have had double the amount of Satoshis or Bitcoin now. But this next move upwards, this move here, let me just go back to Bitcoin. In this move here, I do expect that we are going to have a rise in altcoins. Let me quickly show you what is going to happen here. This rise here in Bitcoin, just to clarify that question, and don't worry about that. This is why I say, all you need to do is focus on getting more of the same crypto that you have. Okay? Because the Satoshi value is going to take care of it on its own, and the dollar value will take care of it also. This rise in Bitcoin is going to go up in our data about it shows a 61.35%. 61, let's just say 61%. That is the rise in Bitcoin. But the rise in cryptocurrencies for me is showing up about 154%. Now, Todd, this is where you're going to see that Bitcoin is going to start rising and make these spikes. But Neo, Litecoin, and all those other coins are going to spike a lot higher for the day. And there's going to build up momentum. There's two things in the beginning of the year that I spoke about. It's called velocity and momentum. The velocity and momentum was completely lost here from this date onwards, actually year from about 3 May, when Bitcoin started rising upwards and cryptos did not rise. So Bitcoin built up momentum, but the cryptocurrencies did not. You can have a look at most cryptocurrency charts. They went downwards, sideways, and they haven't even broken above the Python y-axis. Let me show you, for example, IOTA. IOTA, and I'm just going to wait for your screen to appear there. Remember I said that IOTA, if you want to make some good money and you just get into the market now, you want to buy IOTA, keep it for 45 to 65 days. Okay, so IOTA, look at this. The Python y-axis, that one there, just pitched up. There it is. Now keep in mind that these coins IOTA is 120, well, a little bit more. Let's see, because Bitcoin is about, let me just put that in there. Bitcoin is about, let's say, around about there. Okay, maybe a little bit higher. Now look at how far behind IOTA is in terms of catching up with Satoshi value. It's 186%. Way, way, way behind. All cryptocurrencies are way behind. This is why we said, and we believed when we got to this point here, at this point here, where we said that we believe that it's going to do similar to what it did in 17 December 2017, where Litecoin will go up and Bitcoin will drop. But here you see a typical example here of Litecoin going upwards. Now, in my sense, I think that was kind of like a failed call. It didn't really play out exactly. Some coins went up, but some coins went down. The coins that I thought is going to go up, like Litecoin, Litecoin, for example, didn't go up. But you can see now, look at this big green candle here. It's maybe just a little bit late, where these green candles are going to start outperforming Bitcoin. So let's have a look at this, 6 June today, and let's go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still a red candle. Okay, so
but wouldn't it be a better strategy to be in LTC, BTC as opposed to a stable coin, so you actually are gaining a lot more Satoshi?
You can play that as well. Yes, you can. But for purposes of what I provide, it gets complicated when I start talking about a certain coin versus holding it in Bitcoin. Our algorithm is not designed to pick that up. We have to align with the US dollar. So I can show you where the high point is. But yes, you can do it if you want. But remember, it could catch you. It could catch you out as well. Some people do keep it in Bitcoin, and maybe the next move up, that is something that you can do. But I can't advise you on that because it's not something that I play. We provide our data in US dollar. We've tried to do it in Bitcoin value. It's just it's so complicated. The coding that we need to design for that, we've tried it. It's just literally impossible. So
Okay,
that's why we
thank you.
Yeah, but if you do see Bitcoin drop look, the long end of the story, this is how I see it play out. Bitcoin is going to go sideways now. In the sideways movement, you are going to see that certain coins are going to move up in value, in dollar value. Come here around about the 17th of July, Bitcoin is going to break out. And then altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin at that point. This is what I see in my data. When that happens, Bitcoin will go up 61%, 61.35, and from the breakout point, and then altcoins is going to go plus 100, 150%. Okay, so yeah, that is what we see it. It's a question, guys, of just waiting. If you look back at the Bitcoin chart, the sideways movement is a question of just being patient, and then we're going to break out. So let's get some more questions here and we'll answer that. I've got a whole bunch of coins here on the top and we can go through every single coin. Somebody's asking about Digibyte. Let's quickly go to Digibyte. Will Digibyte outperform Bitcoin? Okay, Digibyte, guys. Neo. Okay, oh, is that Neo? But will Digibyte outperform Neo? No, sure. Let's have a look at that. Guys, we don't know if Digibyte is going to outperform Neo. Yes, that is a difficult question, but let me show you what we see and then you can make up your own summary. I believe that Digibyte, when I had a look at this yesterday, is forming this little shoe. I like to call that a shoe. Some people call it maybe a rising wedge, maybe a pennant. I don't know. There's not really a physical term that I can put into this kind of look, and I can't find a technical pattern for this. But if I look at this pattern here, it shows to me that Neo, and I'm just going to make this what will be maybe pink so we can see that a little bit more clear. I see that Digibyte is moving downwards into this point. In this range is going up and down again and up again. And our data still shows that Digibyte is going to break out. Now look at this where the Python y-axis is. When we get, I believe there's maybe a little bit more downwards momentum going to happen here in Digibyte. And I'm just going to load this up and make this a little bit bigger so we can get into that. I believe that the lowest point that Digibyte can go is touching this MS52, the green line, which is about 0.013. Now, you can take screenshots if you want, copy and paste them, then just take your snippet tool while we go, and you can copy and paste them in a report, a Word document, and you can look at that again. But I will upload this video again so you can have a look at this. Now, if it goes down to this point, I believe that could be the lowest point. Now, keep in mind that here we have a golden cross. And that golden cross means that the MS52 is now moving upwards. And that golden cross, when it crosses this 2B algorithm line, is going to break out. Keep in mind, guys, that this 3B algorithm line is there, and we've also got this Python y-axis here. Now, remember this, if you look at where Bitcoin is about there. Okay, I'm just going to show the golden cross again. Let me just see if it pitches up on your screen there. Sorry, guys, there's just a bit of a lag here. Take a screenshot, and then you can see that there. That means that we're now in a divergence pattern that will move Digibyte upwards. Look, the matter of the case with Digibyte is this. Now, you guys know that I trade two sections of Digibyte. I've got Digibyte that I buy, I hold, I store it in a wallet, a cold wallet. Then I've got my trading Digibyte. I sold my trading Digibyte somewhere around here at 0.3. It went all the way down. I never bought it back. I'm ready to start buying Digibyte back again at this point. And I moved Digibyte into Bitcoin Cash and some other coins. But if you hold Digibyte, there's no need to sell it right now. Simply hold. And as I said, the market is going to move sideways for about 4 weeks. June, I've always said that, is going to be a sideways movement. You need to be emotionally prepared for that, and you need to be, and just be patient. Now, let's go back to Litecoin just for that gentleman who asked the question there. It's very difficult to find a top and then buy back on the low. And I have always said that when I get to a top here, guys, if I own 100 Litecoin, I may sell 20%. And then I simply hold that 20% in a wallet. Now remember this, I said that we're going to have a drop, and this is the drop that we had. That 20%, I came right down here at the bottom and I bought Litecoin back again. So I literally increased the amount of Litecoin I have. Now, it can happen here that you sell here on the top. It can happen, and then Bitcoin moves back upwards again. And then instead of having 100 Litecoin, sorry, we're talking about Litecoin. Instead of having 100 Litecoin, you may have 95 Litecoin. So you have decreased in value. But then you just need to start playing catch up again when we head into higher numbers. And if you do not know how to do it, do nothing. Don't sell. This, I've always said, is only for risk-adverse investors, because we don't do day trading here at Bitcoin Trend and Forecast. If you want to lose money, go and do day trading. You're going to lose a heck of a lot of money, guys. I tell you now. The best way for you is to hold Litecoin. Don't even try and sell it unless you know what you do. Let me give you the long-term view of Litecoin. Now, for the new people here, don't get scared if I give you this information now. I do see Litecoin going up to $3,600. This can hit this level here of 3,300. That level there of about, where is that now? 3.6. Around about 3,600, right down to that level there. Now, there are 4 coins that we are seeing in my algorithm data that outperform every single crypto in the entire world. We don't exactly know what it is, but I've got a 60% bet it's going to be Litecoin. Number one, it could be Litecoin, it could be Bitcoin. I don't believe it's going to be Bitcoin. But then it could be Ethereum or XRP. Sorry, there's actually 5, or Bitcoin Cash. Okay, so just remember those. Those are the ones that we are looking at. XRP, be very careful with XRP. If it is going to be XRP, it's a very low probability, but I never want to say never. So we just need to be aware of that. I am personally betting that Litecoin is going to have a, let's call it a spiritual moment. Now, remember that call that I've been talking about where I listened to this call where digital assets were on it, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, I can't remember the other bank or two. They were talking about they are going to push up Bitcoin to 80,000 this year, Ethereum 10,000, Bitcoin Cash, I can't remember now, Bill, I've got the numbers here somewhere. And they were talking about Litecoin up to $4,500. It's interesting actually that I see in our data that it could well be Litecoin. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Let's quickly have a look at BNB, and I want to see, okay, how much did BNB rise from this? See this point here, that point there. I'm just going to wait for you guys just to get the screen. Can you see that, Wendy? Okay, I want to see how much did BNB actually rise. Now that rise there was approximately, it's about 385%. So in real terms, if Litecoin is behind BNB, we still need to go up that minimum 300%. Now remember guys, this is not accurate, but you can use this as a guideline as well. This is the minimum target. And this is why I said, you know, the target for Litecoin has now increased to 300. So you look at about 300, 400, between that range for Litecoin minimum. When we get to that point there, I want to give you a hint. The coin that is going to explode is going to go up 80 to 85% year round about 17 to 20 July. It's going to jump up really quickly. When that happens in that coin, we're going to know that is the coin. And if it's Litecoin at that point, good luck, and then we just ride the wave up. If you have 100 Litecoin, you have the potential to make $360,000. Now remember guys, keep in mind, this is not financial advice. This is teaching and training. I hope I answered that question about Christopher, when you asked that question in the beginning. It's just an overall update for Litecoin. Okay.
Yeah, thanks on that.
Okay, LY, I've got that
Hey,
one.
how about an update on Bitcoin Cash, Marius?
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll go to XRP and then we'll go to Bitcoin Cash. XRP, guys, very good. It's still that cup and handle. for the new people here, if you don't know what a cup and handle is, it's just a technical indicator. Don't worry about it. It's just a pattern that pitches up in stocks worldwide. And when you see a big loop here, and just like a soup bowl, it just comes downwards, it goes sideways, and then it goes upwards again. Normally, we just call that a cup and handle because it's a visual indicator. That little cup or the handle on that side is basically the handle that we see on this side. When that happens, it normally takes the same width or the same height. If you take that height from the bottom to that top of that blue line, we can expect this to break out about to this level here, which is where we are now. It's about a 68% gain. But I expect XRP to go a little bit higher, and this may be here roundabout by the end of July. I know I've put in there 17 and 24 June, but this is the date when the big spike, I believe, in XRP is going to happen. We are going to get down up here now to this point here of about 0.8 cents, but we do expect a move up into this level here of $1.80. I do believe it can go higher, and it will not be impossible to have this target here, the total target from the bottom to the top of 676%, where it goes back to about $3.20 before we see a big drop again. So just keep that in mind. So that is a little bit about XRP. Let's go back into Bitcoin Cash.
So Marius, the price for Bitcoin Cash that you spoke to us about earlier was 13,000 to 16,000 by year end.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Yes, yeah.
And I posted them in the chat as well.
Okay, awesome.
All the coins.
Wonderful. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, those targets are the targets that the banks have set on there. Now remember this. This is JP Morgan on a call. Goldman Sachs on a call, digital assets on a call. If I didn't listen to the recording myself, I wouldn't have believed it. Now I've got a trading partner that I work with. This guy trades about, well over $1 billion for banks. Like, I mean, the banks has got their experts who trade for them. But then if there are experts that are better than the people that work for them, they funnel money to these people, $1 billion, guys, and then this expert trades on his own, working for JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs. And this expert is the guy who has given me this video, sorry, not a video, but the call, and I listened to that. It comes from a trusted source. So it's not just inky-dinky stuff, that we find on the internet somewhere where somebody posted nonsense, This is the true deal. I listened to it, and I tell you, I've listened to it myself. It's the truth. Now, for myself, I said to myself, it's impossible that Bitcoin can hit 80,000 by the end of this year. I don't see it in my data. I've always said that we're going to break the all-time high the third week of January next year. Now it looks to me that we are going to break the all-time high in October. It's crazy. It's speeding up. The entire Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market is speeding up. And it's got to do with hyperinflation, tariffs, all this war games going on with regard to finances between countries. Guys, be prepared to pay $1 million for a piece of land in Australia. You're going to pay that in America too, all over the world, before you even build your home. It's happening. Here in Australia, you can't get a piece of land in Brisbane where I live. If you get a piece of land under $600, $600,000, you are lucky. You just don't get it. Then you have to build. It's not much money anymore. No, not much land. Yeah, and it's not much land as well. You get a small lot. I mean, you imagine the lots in America, cut it in 3. That's a little piece. They give you a small piece. You can't even build a house on there. You have to build a double-story home just to have something decent. Now, anyway, let's have a look here at Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash at this moment is going to follow what Litecoin is doing. We see that, let me just zoom in here. It's still going to go upwards into the level of $1,000. There's nothing wrong with Bitcoin Cash. It's just delayed a little bit. Since they had that hack, things have slowed down for Bitcoin Cash. So it's just building confidence back, building momentum back, and you're going to see it's going to play out. The algorithm pattern always plays out. bear with me and have a look at me. Look at what I'm showing you here. This pattern here is where I see where Bitcoin Cash is at the moment. We've got this A, we had this uptrend there into B. I'm just going to talk a little bit slower so the mouse can catch up. And then we're going to head down into this level here where we are now. You can see here that this green MS52 line has created really nice support for Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash, as a matter of fact, could perhaps drop into this MS52, but time has moved on. I don't believe it's going to happen. And with the rise of Litecoin, you're going to see that Bitcoin Cash is going to lag behind and move upwards into this level here of about $450 per Bitcoin Cash. We're then going to have a drop. Now, that high point could be anywhere between about 15, 16, 17, and 18 June. Then we're going to have a low point again. Okay, that low point is going to be round about year 23, 24, 25 June. Then what could happen, remember what I said, that there are thugs, they could potentially drop Bitcoin. If Bitcoin drops, Bitcoin Cash can drop as well. And it's going to have support here at that support level there, but the MA2B, this algorithm line, could create support there as well, where it will bounce back. So effectively, if it drops, and I can't say clearly, I can't say yes or no, it is going to drop. I'm just saying be aware of this. When it drops there, it's going to go back up again like so quick. It'll literally go like this, back up there. All cryptos will do that if it drops. And then it goes there. And then what happens here at about 15, 10, between 10 and 17 July is that we have this spike upwards. Now you will see that Bitcoin Cash could literally create a very big spike there. And that is where we get into these targets, where it's going to slice through these targets like butter. It's going to go 570, 704, 820, up till $1,000. So this is what we see in Bitcoin Cash. This is why I say I have not sold any Bitcoin Cash. I haven't even sold here on the top. I added a little bit more positions here on the bottom, and we are just simply riding it up. And there's no need for me to sell Bitcoin Cash because, you know, you don't want to go from, if you hold 100 Bitcoin Cash and make a wrong move, and you have to come back and buy higher. Because regardless of this drop too, remember, this can break out as well earlier. So be careful, just hold. This is why I said in the latest report, guys, if you don't know what to do, simply hold. You can't go wrong. You just need to be aware that there could be a bit of a drop, and then it can go upwards again. It's similar to, let's have a look at this. Here on 3 April, Bitcoin Cash hit a high point. If you didn't sell there, look what happened. It came here down to the bottom, and bang, it went up again. There you are in profit. You just need to ride out that emotional wave downwards, fighting with yourself and telling yourself, I should have sold. Nobody has got hindsight, guys. We try to do it in algorithms because algorithms can predict the future price of cryptos, can even predict the future price of Microsoft or Apple. But I'm not interested in making 10% in Apple or 8% in Microsoft. Cryptos is where we need to be. And by the way, there are now financial institutions that are seriously looking at cryptos. Those money managers make 5% and they are ecstatic. They buy each other a coffee. It's a high five because they made 5%. Those same guys are looking at Bitcoin and they say, man, if I moved $1 billion into Bitcoin on 15 December and I rode the wave up, I could have made 192%. Guys, they are rolling over in their beds at night. They can't sleep because they also think like we think. If I just bought on the bottom there, and they can't wait to get into cryptos. It's going to happen. I see it. You see now all over the world, billionaires and multimillionaires are now fighting each other just to get hold of Bitcoin. Crazy stuff happening. This is why we have this sideways pattern as well. So enough about Bitcoin Cash there, guys. Positive. All cryptos are positive. There's one crypto that is terrible. Let's quickly have a look at this crypto bill before we just move on. This crypto is PPT. I want to show you what a bad chart looks like. This is a bad, terrible chart. This is kind of, now keep in mind, this is kind of where Digibyte was a few months ago. And so you're going to find that PPT is probably about a month and a half or 2 months behind. It could go a little bit lower to this level here that I've identified 0.7 for PPT, and then it's going to turn upwards. Now remember this, guys, I thought I was clever, and I bought, at this bottom here, I bought PPT. It went up, and I went like, man, this is going to be great. Because we didn't really have nice indicators at that point here, you know, in April, this was April of, sorry, no, I didn't buy there. It was here in 2019. Where was that? At around about 4, that's, it could have been somewhere here actually where I bought around about, it was here October. No, not even there. Gee, did I buy it this low? Anyway, but I did buy PPT at $5. I remember that figure, and the market drop. I still own that PPT. I haven't sold it. Why? Because it's only a small percentage of my entire portfolio, and I'm storing that away. And because I buy it on Binance, and I've left it there. Around about these low levels here, I just remember that could have been $1.60 actually here in January. So I bought it there. The market went downwards. It went slightly upwards, and I still hold it. Now, I'm not going to buy any more PPT unless PPT drops a little bit lower. Long term, I don't see a major issue with PPT, but it's a terrible chart. This is what a terrible chart looks like. It's going to do the same what Digibyte did. It will go up, it will go do this, and yet at some point it's going to go upwards again. So if you hold PPT, I hope you don't own a big amount of your portfolio. But if you do, I wouldn't suggest to sell PPT right now at the moment because you can lose a lot of money. Okay, so no, you don't buy PPT now. The money that you want to use, you want to put the money in either Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Neo, any of these stronger coins. You can come back later and buy PPT, not now. I see a little bit more downside perhaps here. You see, the problem with this chart is, guys, I make decisions on my algorithm analysis. You know, the fact that this one, the 3B is low and the 2B is high, says to me, don't buy. It's not a buy indicator. Now, what you are going to see, let me just move that out and just delete that. You're going to see that all these indicators are going to start doing this. And that red one will cross this one. When we see that cross, where the red crosses the orange, good sign. And this pink line should go downwards and literally come underneath. That is what it should look like. Now, when I see that indicator and that indicator, that says to me it's a good buy. That it hasn't happened yet. Let's have a look at a coin that has done that. Let's go and show you IOTA. Remember I said that IOTA is now becoming a good buy. And this is more for people who want to buy something now and they want to keep it. I recommend this coin. Why? Look at this. The pink line is now above, it's moving up. There we have a cross where the green line is moving upwards. I'm just going to make this a little bit larger and I'll just wait a little second just for my screen to catch up on your screen. Just tell me when that's there, baby, when you can see the... Okay. Now, right there, you can see that this 105C times 2 axis. I'm just going to make that a little bit darker. That is another one that has pitched up here. Let's just leave it like that. So when that moves upwards here, it's going to follow that green line on the bottom, and it's eventually going to cross this pink line. But you can understand that Digibyte is about here. In terms of algorithm analysis, with the market coming down. Can you see here is the trend that I talk about where it starts turning around, where that turns around, and where that starts turning around and it will eventually cross, and that will eventually cross and then go up. You buy here. It doesn't matter what happened here. Like, people got so concerned. They emailed me and said, oh, is IOTA still a good buy? And I clearly state there that it's a good buy for 45 to 60 days. You want to get into IOTA. Whether you buy here at 0.45 or you buy now, it's a damn good buy. you are going to double your money. Why? Look at this, the Python y-axis. It still has got all that room to go to break the Python y-axis. Crazy stuff, guys. This is just unbelievable. Let's go to ADA. Somebody wants ADA. Let's go and look at Cardano. Guys, I've loaded up on this as well. Okay, I've loaded up on ADA, XRP, and it's impossible for me to tweet out every single time when I load up on a coin. You just need to attend these webinars so that you can know what we plan for the next week, what I have. And it's not really the case that you need to be updated every single day. The market now is in that granular upwards momentum. You can buy and hold. Don't worry about any little drops on the day. You know, I barely check my charts. You know, I come back and check my emails and then people are concerned. Like this one guy said to me, XRP dropped, crazy. And I said, where? Send me the chart. He sent me the chart, and on the day chart, it dropped 3.5%. You know, don't worry about 3%, 5%. Don't worry about 10%. When it's more than 13.87%, then we have to worry about. Then we need to check it. What is happening here? The 13.87% is the mathematical equation that when Bitcoin drops below that, not the altcoins, when Bitcoin drops below that ratio, we need to now pay close attention and say what is happening here. Then we find that, okay, it can drop 20% because the algorithms are creating stop and support points. Now, unless that is broken, I will send out an email immediately. But guys, for this year, we see massive uptrends. There are so many people that are still calling for Bitcoin to go to 2,000. Guys, it's not going to happen. There's too much momentum in the market. Let's have a look at ADA. ADA is forming this left shoulder, right shoulder. It's just called an inverted head and shoulders. Okay, so if you take a human being, you've got the head, then you've got the left shoulder and the right shoulder. Normally when it's inverted, upside down, it means that you can potentially have a breakout here. Now you are going to see that ADA, this is only the start, guys. When this happens, and you can see here that we have a cross here and that all these indicators are now starting to move upwards. As a matter of fact, the Python y-axis here on the top and the 3B algorithm line is yet to form. Guys, this thing is going to go ballistic. If you want to hold a coin for long term, you can hold ADA. No problem with that. But just remember, there are better coins than ADA or IOTA. I just pushed out IOTA because there are multiple people that said, listen, if you want to double your money and you are sure about it, what do I do? And I said, well, IOTA. IOTA is the one. You can even hold ADA. Okay, now ADA, look at this, guys. From this level here, let's just move this up and get a true figure here. We believe this could go up about 273%. It's a great coin. If you want to hold this long term, it's going to go and do way more than 100%. Now, don't go and place all your money in one coin. Never, ever do that. I know that, Christopher, that you are only investing in Litecoin. If there's one coin that you want to do it, rather than invest in Litecoin, only trade Litecoin, hold Litecoin. It's got the biggest chance for you to become a millionaire. Now remember, not financial advice. I'm just saying here from an education perspective and what I see in the charts. Like I said in the beginning of this year, if you took $50,000 in 2 years from now, there's a big probability that you can turn that 50,000 into 7.2 million. Guys, it's not impossible. There are people that moved 50,000 in on their money. Right now, these same people are now up $200,000. If that doubles again, you get $400,000. And then go and work the numbers out. It changes very, very quick. Let's get into Tron. Let me just go through. Isn't the goal to accumulate as much Bitcoin? Alt should be converting into Bitcoin. Yeah, guys, your goal is definitely to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you can, but in Bitcoin value. So if you own 3 coins like Litecoin, XRP, and ADA, you always want to increase the amount of ADA, the amount of cryptos that you have. Then what you want to do is to convert it back and see how much Bitcoin is my portfolio. You may convert it back and say that your portfolio now is 10 Bitcoin. Your ultimate goal is to get 12 Bitcoin, 14 Bitcoin. So yes, on that question, that is your answer there. Okay, somebody's asking, can we make the pointer a bit bigger? Let me just see here. I think this is, if I just change that to maybe the arrow, maybe that is bigger. Okay. And then we're going to get into, okay, we've done XRP. Sure, what is the other question here? Guys, any other questions? I think I'm just going to go through.
Marius, so for
Tron.
Litecoin, the time to buy would be Litecoin to buy would be end of June for the big right wave up.
Yes, guys.
To
If
add
you
more.
are if you are in Litecoin, keep what you have. Don't sell. Don't buy and sell. But if you want to buy Litecoin around about 20 June to 25 June. That is going to be the low point just before we perhaps have a trend upwards. But I think it's you, Frank, that asked that question. Remember this. There's something with Litecoin that you need to understand. Litecoin does not play by the rules. It's kind of like the naughty kid on the block. We can say that Litecoin may follow Bitcoin and that it would also come here to 24, 25 on the low point. But then Litecoin may just do the opposite. Like look what is doing now. Litecoin is moving upwards and Bitcoin has not even moved. Still in the red for the day. Now things will change in about 15 minutes, okay? Now, you just need to have a look at Litecoin. When you see a break in Litecoin, you just need to get into it and buy. As a matter of fact, guys, I want to make this call here and say that if you want to get into Litecoin, you better buy your positions now and just keep it. Because to time it right, you know, Litecoin at $111 from our new data now. Remember, I have always said anything above $111 regarded as a bonus. We're retracting that now. It's going to go up to $300. Mathematically, it must hit that level. It will not come back, or never say never, but the chance for Litecoin to come back and break this Python Y axis and the MS52, it's very, very slim. There must be a big disaster in crypto market for that to happen. And if that happens, we sell everything. And the only disaster I'm talking about is if the American government comes out and say that cryptos are now banned in the USA. Which you guys know won't happen. I mean, they can't ban it across all states. So, but that can happen. You know, my Litecoin, I've bought my Litecoin and I'm happy with the amount I have and I don't care, I'm just going to hold it. But if you want to buy, look guys, we are looking at about $11. You buy it at 100, you buy it at 111, it's a 10% difference. You know, it's better for me now to get into the market because we don't know what Litecoin specifically is going to do. As I say, it's the bully on the block, the kid on the block that wants to make trouble, and you need to hold that. Now, fair enough, it really is following the Bitcoin pattern. Boris also just said that Litecoin is ahead of Bitcoin. It could be, guys, but I'm just saying that I do believe that Litecoin is a little bit behind Bitcoin. In algorithm patterns, the chart may be ahead. So yes, I would say buy Litecoin straight away. Again, not financial advice. Please remember that, guys.
Marius.
Jacques here in Canada. Hi.
Isaac.
Hi. I've got a bit of cash to buy, and I'm just wondering, from all that you're saying, should I be waiting till the 18th or 20th of June to my next buy would be Binance? And should I wait, or is it good to get in now?
Okay, Binance is a little bit different. I bought Binance straight away now, like a few days ago. Now, you can see here, let's zoom into Binance. Okay, number one, you know, it went downwards here and it reached this level here right at that point there. I expected Binance to come down to this MS52 line. Can you see there where the number 4 line is? There is a little bit of a probability that it can still drop, but it's becoming very, very uncommon now for Binance to drop. But look, guys, we are splitting hairs here. You can literally fit a hair in between there and that green line there. Who cares if you buy it there, and who cares if you buy it lower? You know, who cares if you buy it there? I can tell you now that we see in our data that Binance is going to have a potential run of 500%. That's why I bought in now and I'm holding it. There's a very slim chance that Binance can break down. Okay, think about this now, guys. CZ from Binance just spent how many millions to go and sit with Warren Buffett to have a meal with him, eat a steak? Now, this guy's got so much money. Where does his money come from? Binance, the BNB coin. He is going to do everything possible to run BNB up. And with the momentum of Bitcoin and Litecoin going up, BNB is the front runner. I'm sure as heck that this is the front runner of all the coins. Why? Look at BNB. Look where the Python y-axis is. BNB has crossed the Python y-axis completely and is way above that. And you are going to see by the end of this year, multiple coins that we are talking about here, even almost all these coins, except PPT and a few of them, are going to move above the Python y-axis. And you are going to see astronomical numbers. NEO, for example, in our data, $850 per one NEO coin. So what I'm saying is, if you want to get into Binance now, it's a good time to buy Binance. Now, let me show you something else. We can't put a blanket rule on all cryptos. NEO is a good buy. PPT is not a good buy. Now, let's go and have a look at NEO, for example, and then we'll have a look at TRX, just for those person who asked. Now, NEO, for example, is turning green again. So NEO is also a good buy. It's just come off that MS52. See how that created perfect support? It's like spot on that line. That's going to move upwards. So that is also a good buy at the moment. There are certain coins that I would simply wait. Let's have a look at one coin. Okay, well, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of the coins that I would wait for. I wouldn't buy Bitcoin now. Where I would buy Bitcoin is here on the low of about 20 or 25. That is where I would buy Bitcoin. Okay, you can see actually that Bitcoin now is just turning a green candle. So all coins are now going to start moving up, Bitcoin Cash and everything. But it will go up to this point here, which is about the high of about 17 or 18 June. Closer to that time, remember this, guys, closer to that time of 17, 18 June, there'll be multiple reports coming out warning you specifically where the high point date will be. Could it be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? In that week, in that range. I believe, just for now, for the purposes of this call, the 17th on a Monday in America is the worst day of trading. That Sunday, the Sunday and Monday is every single time where cryptos drop, about 90% of the time. So we believe that it could come up into that high point there, but closer to the time, I will tell you what the high point is. We sell, we get out of Bitcoin, you buy Bitcoin low. Now, the general terms, just for the person who asked that question, if from Canada, if you want to know where to buy most of the cryptos, if you look at the cheat sheet, we said that around about between 5 and 7 June is a good time to buy cryptos. Your second best bet is to wait here around about the 20 to 25 of June, and you buy there. That, guys, wherever that low point is, but don't buy too quick. Remember what I said. I see there is something sinister happening in the market where the whales could potentially drop Bitcoin. Two scenarios here. I want to run through that again. You can literally wait and wait and wait till we see the market turns upwards, and then you buy. Or you can wait and see if the whales are going to drop Bitcoin. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. They may only drop it to 6.6. If that happens, you can buy Bitcoin at that price, or you can buy other cryptos as well. Now, if you don't know what to do, guys, there's two words, or actually one. Hold. Simply hold. Simply hold your coins. And if you want to get into the market now, just buy. Don't be scared, because we see in our algorithm data, we see this uptrend in Bitcoin of about 61.35%, and altcoins are going to outperform the market. before there's another question, I just want to go to TRX. Just somebody asked me about that. Again, TRX, guys. With TRX, I was really anti-TRX, and we didn't see enough data. It was as if somebody just turned the tap down and there's no water coming out. And I wondered, what the heck is going on here with TRX? But from a technical perspective, you can have a look at this kind of like a mist-formed head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders. We do expect TRX to actually break out upwards. Our first target here is again that 0.01, and I see this going up into this level here of 0.05. Remember this, if you have a look at the top 40 crypto report, the 20 July 2018, that is the point to sell. When this actually moved up into that level there, many people sold, but you can literally now buy back again. All these indicators look really, really good. The Python y-axis and the 3B algorithm line is not even there yet. But guys, I wouldn't put too much trust in Tron. Tron has cost a lot of people a lot of money. Unfortunately, a lot of people have lost a little bit of faith in Tron. It's not the end of the world if you hold Tron. If you hold it, just write it out. One thing that I want to tell you, if you look at these charts here, if you go back here to April 2018, see these parabolic rises here. That can always happen, and don't disregard that. If you take the bars pattern and you just go and simply duplicate that, and we move that over to there, you can always, always, always have a big spike up here. When Tron goes upwards and you have made huge profits, I would move that out and I would move it into other coins that are more stable, the ones the banks are after, like Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Guys, go where the banks go. As a matter of fact, the banks are buying Digibyte as well. The evidence of that will soon come out. And there's a big thing happening with Digibyte. Okay, yeah, we went through Digibyte. Let's quickly have a look at Theta. Now, Theta, you can remember that right here at number 5 there at the top, that is where I said that I've sold my Theta and I moved that into other coins. Now, Theta has done that big ABC correction here. I just came back here and just bought Theta again. Okay, so Theta is now a buy. One of the reasons is you can see here from a technical perspective, I don't like technical indicators really that much, but in this case, you can see that, let me just zoom out and show you this, just for the new people that are here. I'm gonna make this line dark and just dark black so you can see it. See this line here? Normally what happens is each coin, and it happens in Apple, Microsoft, goes up in a wave called an Elliott wave segment. So that has gone up one, and then you have a drop. And then your third wave is always big, big, big. And then it dropped and it completed the Elliott wave. Let's move that away now. Now remember this, your 22 mathematical algorithm line. Let me just change my pointer again, it keeps going back. Yeah, my apologies if you can't see the pointer, but we limited here with TradingView. I can't change my pointer in Microsoft. If I come back into TradingView, it just changes it back to small again. And then it changes into a hand. We've got nothing, we can't do anything about that. But look at this, guys. I'll try and do the circles. The 22 MAE crossed above this line here, then above the pink line, and it went up. That completed the cycle. We then had this ABC correction. And now you can see that the green 24B axis didn't drop that much. The 2B is exactly where it should be. And the 20 MAE is exactly where it should be. The MS52 exactly where it should be. This now, can you see there, that cross there and that cross there? That is a buy. That tells you buy. Let's go back to PPT. Remember what I said here on PPT? Just waiting for the screen to appear on your screen. remember what I said? PPT will become a buy when we cross. Now let's go back to theta, if I can find it. Yes, there's so many up here. Again, I'm just waiting for your screen to appear there, and you should see my mouse now there. There is your indicator that theta is now a good buy. So theta, in my opinion, is going to hit this level here. The first target here, really, let's just put a price label here. 0.38, roundabout in that line. And I always like to have a look at the percentages. So you look at about a 200% gain. Can you guys see what I said with Bitcoin? Remember, I said that Bitcoin is only going to go up 61.35% from the breakout level. We don't know yet where the breakout level is. That's why we can't call the high point. Once I have that, I'll be able to tell you what that is. Mathematically, you know, it works out to 61.35%. Now, when Bitcoin moves up, that's 63%. Look what theta is going to do. Okay, 63%, 61.35% actually. This is Bitcoin here, and look at theta. Now, remember you guys asked me before, why are we losing Satoshi value? We lost it because Bitcoin moved up faster than the cryptos. Now, what's going to happen is in the next phase now, remember I spoke about this, the next phase of the ABCD. Bitcoin was very low on the market on 15 December 2018. It had to regain its dominance. And that's why you see about a 55, almost 60% dominance on coin market cap, where cryptos are only 40. You're going to see that people will now start moving out of Bitcoin back into cryptos. And cryptos will go bigger. And I believe that Bitcoin will hit about 43% dominance. When you see that shift, that's called the equational shift. The cryptos will regain Satoshi value and you'll make money galore. Okay, let's move into the next question, KBC. I haven't got KBC up on here, guys, but let's quickly have a look at KBC. I'll try and bring it up here quickly. Just while we talk about KBC. KBC is called the Carat Bars coin or Carat Bitcoin. It's backed by gold, if you don't know. Let me just bring up gold and we'll get into gold as well. You'll see at gold a really nice spike up here. It's not looking bad at all, but this spike here is got to do with hyperinflation. Hidden hyperinflation. There's not a real word. It's not really hyperinflation. We still have to develop a word as the world community to identify this new term. It's got to do with tariffs, world war, financial wars, hyperinflation, whatever, you know. So there's not a word that I can put onto it yet. It's like we developed the word granular cycle because there was nothing in the world ever, and the world will never ever see this again, this granular cycle in Bitcoin. You're going to look back in 5 years and go like, wow, this is massive. And everybody will be a millionaire in 10 years from now, but $1 million will not buy you much. That's why we're moving to cryptocurrencies. You know, it's bad for the people who keep money in the bank. It's going to be worthless. Anyway,
Marius, will gold keep rising into end of the year?
I believe it will. It is going to rise, and I think here by December it's going to have a higher point than what it is now. And I believe it will even hit about $1,400 going into the end of this year. So don't think it's going to be massive rises. But keep in mind, guys, going forward, yeah, we've got a cycle that runs till 2032. In the future, gold becomes worthless. Worthless in the sense of the fact that it will still be valuable, but worthless in the sense of what do you do with it now? There's too much gold in the world, and people are going to start realizing that. They're going to realize that silver, there's not enough silver in the world. Now, what is going to happen is that, remember this, the baby boomers that were born from 57 till 1968 or whatever. In that 18-year span, 1 billion baby boomers were born all over the world. Unfortunately, that billion baby boomers are starting to die. This is why crematoriums and cemeteries are becoming so valuable. You know, you pay millions and millions of dollars now for cemeteries because governments around the world don't allow you to set up cemeteries anymore. But because of the amount of people dying now, that's the best business to be in. Now, what's going to happen is these billion people are now needing healthcare. One of the biggest things that you need in healthcare is hygiene. What do they use? Silver. So the baby boomers will be responsible for driving the silver market to crazy highs. This is what I see in our data. We see silver probably very soon, 5 years, 6 years, hitting almost $982 an ounce. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to outperform gold by far. Now let's get back to where I was talking. I think I was talking about.
Marius, along these lines, I want to ask you a question. But for this
Sure.
to happen, don't you think that the US dollar has to collapse completely? I mean,
No.
these prices are enormous, right?
Yeah, they are. But remember this. Okay, think back now again a year and a half ago, when Bitcoin reached $20,000. Nobody even thought it's going to reach that. It's the same where people can't, in their own mind, fathom that Bitcoin will be $1 million and that everybody will have $1 million. You know, but
Yeah,
things
but
will cost a lot more.
Bitcoin is a slightly different animal than gold and silver, I think.
Yeah,
Even though
exactly.
it's being equated to it. But you know, to me, cryptocurrency is another way of fighting inflation. If you know, if we can look at it that way, it's another outlet for your money. But for silver, yes, it's a needed metal, and it's used in industry more than gold. But you know, I don't know. From $14 to almost 1,000, it's just so hard to imagine this in the metal because the market's being manipulated so heavily for many years.
And Boris, you know, this is the thing where people won't be able to wrap their mind around it. Remember this, when I said last year that we're not in a bear market, you know, people gone all crazy and said, no, this is a bear market. But now when people are starting to look back, they realize, this wasn't the bear market. You see, people can't fathom these things. What I do, I go ahead in time with my algorithm. It's kind of like me traveling back from the, you know, from the future and coming back and looking then back and see all this. This is what happened. Because I've got all the data.
If you get a chance after Carat Gold, if you could go back to Bitcoin screen, I'd like to ask you a question there.
Okay, cool. So it's kind of like looking back in the future. Remember this, guys, that we are still, remember what I said, Bitcoin is not going to stop at $1 million. It'll go up to I don't know, what did we say last time, 3.7. I haven't got the data in front of me. When it reaches that 3.7 million, a Bitcoin is going to drop back to $20,000 and Bitcoin is going to become a worthless coin. People will still hold it and trade it, but there are going to be another cryptocurrency that's going to come out. That new cryptocurrency is also going to fail here in 2024. Go and have a look at the granule cycle where we talk about all these things. You find it now that people are now coming out with all these analysis and stuff. You know, we did this a long time ago, and there's new data that I haven't released yet. But we'll get into that. You know, I'm just waiting for that, guys. But I just want to tell you, you're at the right place at the right time. You're going to make insane money. Now, with regard to KBC, the Carat Bit Gold coin, I think I misunderstood the entire precipice of KBC. And Lonnie, you probably on this call here. Let me tell you guys what I think what's going to happen. Remember I told you the last 2 or 3 webinars, I said that these big whales in South Africa told me that when KBC hits 20 or 21 cents, that they are going to start selling it and taking their profits. I don't believe that's going to happen. After I spoke to Tony is the biggest whale in KBC and he's not going to sell any KBC. And they're recommending now to other whales not to sell because it's going to go higher than 40 cents. But this is what's going to happen. There is a very big probability that when you look at KBC, that KBC will still stay around 5, 6, 7, 10, 12 cents. But come the 4th of July, you can go to Carat Bars to the company and say that I want to cash in 100 KBC for 1 gram of gold. They will then give you 1 gram of gold. Now, let me just bring this up on my screen here. I want to show you what is going to happen here. Okay, this is the right screen. If you go to carrotbars.com, you will be able to see that, okay, in this instance, I've got about 11.7 grams of gold. Because I buy gold, I convert it into euro, I put it on my Master Visa card, on my MasterCard, and I buy coffee with it and throw in whatever, fuel, whatever. Now, I will be able to go to the company now. Remember, I'm on carrotbars.com. I can tell the company now, I'll give you 100 KBC, and then you give me 1 gram of gold. It doesn't matter what the price is on the 4th of July. After that time, Lonnie, if I understand this right, we will be able to cash in 1 gram of gold. Now, what this is going to do on the other exchanges is that this is going to force the price up on other exchanges. It could be that we go sideways up till the 4th of July, and bang, you see a price explosion in one day where it aligns now with the value of gold at that time. Maybe 46 cents, maybe 50 cents, depending on where gold is. This is what I believe is going to happen. So in my case, I'm literally going to keep my KBC. And I've got KBC on a whole bunch of other exchanges. Heat BTC and some other ones as well. I'm then at that point going to move my KBC onto the Carrot Bit exchange. How that's going to work, I don't yet know, guys. But again, don't invest your entire portfolio into KBC. Okay, Boris, you said after this we're going to go to what? To Bitcoin.
Yes, if you can. Thank you.
Marius, just a quick question on the KBC.
Sure.
The website, Carrot Bar's website, doesn't actually stipulate that they will exchange 100 coins for 1 gram. All it says is that physical gold exchange. Is that something you're aware of?
Just say again, are you saying that the Carrot Bit exchange doesn't say they will convert it into gold?
Correct. They don't specify the quantity. All they specify is that we will exchange physical gold come 4th of July.
Yeah, and this is the whole reason why we are into KBC. Because we're in KBC because we think that there's a probability that we can cash in 100 KBC into 1 gram of gold. The reason for that is that Harold Zeiss, the founder of KBC, he's come out himself on a video and said that is what can happen. We've heard it from the whales like Tony, and there's a video that I did. You can go to YouTube, search for my videos. Have a look at the one where I say the interview with the whale, the biggest whale in KBC. Listen to that whole recording. In that recording, Tony says himself that come 4 July, there's going to be a big event in Las Vegas on the 4th of July. If you can attend it and you're in America, fly down to Las Vegas, attend that conference there on the 4th of July at Carrotbit. They are going to make an announcement. The announcement will be called the independence of something, you know, where they are stating that we will make ourselves free. Harold Zeiss and the company have bought, I don't know how many tons of, I think it's 1.5 ton worth of gold. They are ready to sell the gold to people who want to cash it in. But I'm starting to think now that I'm not going to sell all my KBC. I'm probably going to sell 10%, move it into gold. Then I'll use that to trade or move it onto my card. And remember this, guys, if you go to the website, actually, let me just bring that up as well. If you haven't got your gold debit card, you may want to get it just in case. For those people in America, I would suggest that you go through my own website here. And look, guys, I'm not making any money out of this. I'm not enticing you to get a card. This is just the process. I do make money out of the Carrot Bars. It's an affiliate marketing system. But you have to, the only way for you to get your card is to sign up through an affiliate. But I had to sign up with the Robert Kiyosaki group. You know, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy who invests in property, through his right-hand man, Conrad Labuschagne. I went through them and I signed up and I got my card. But you don't have to do the business. Some people are doing the business. I not interested in the business. I'm only interested in cryptos. I want to make money in cryptos. Go here to testimonies. You'll see there's a drop-down menu, and you'll see there's a thing there called Gold Debit Card. Now, if you are in America, guys, listen to this very carefully. You want to abide by the rules of the SEC. This is why I say follow these steps. You're going to have to sign up. It's going to cost you about $200, maybe $250. I don't know. I can't remember what the cost is. Sign up there. The Carrot Bit will now send you a document or documentation. They have to legally do it. If you sign up for a bank account in America, they must give you documentation. It's a legal requirement. Here in Australia, we don't have to do it. You go into the bank, you sign up, and you walk out, and you've got an account. There's no these stupid rules. But they want to make people aware that there's risk, there's this, that, the old stuff, to be legal and to use your MasterCard. Follow that process if you're in America. England is different. You don't have to do this. You can simply go and apply for your card. But if you want, follow this step here. What I mean is actually buy yourself a bronze package, that one there. So if you're in England or in Australia, you don't have to buy the bronze package. But Americans, you must, because you get a package from the company. It makes you legal. Okay? You don't want the IRA in America or whoever or IRS or whatever. Yes, they're scary people, those people. You don't want them to shut down your accounts and then do an investigation because they'll take 6 months. Okay?
Hey,
Marius?
I've got another question about KBC, if I could. It's just a for instance. So KBC is about a nickel now a piece. So that means 100,000 of them would cost like $5,000. Okay, so if they're going to convert 100 into 1 gram of gold, that means that if I had 100,000, that means that I would potentially have 1,000 grams of gold, and that's equal to a little over 35 ounces. Does that seem right?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I don't know if your ounces are correctly there, but yes, the point is that people are going to make a hell of a lot of money here. Okay, I see. Yeah, I see, Jim.
Hey, Marius, I can't remember on that little video you had, do we have the ability to get the gold actually delivered, physical gold delivered to us, or are we able to move that quantity offshore to a vaulting system separate from Carrot Bars?
Yes, you can. Let me go back to this carrotbars.com. If you go to carrotbars.com, that's where you register, you get your card. See here under My Gold, I can go to My Gold and I can buy gold. Now what I do then, I sell the gold and I convert it into euro. Now, first of all, when I buy gold, I use Bitcoin to buy gold. I get my money out of the system. Okay, think a little bit further. I'm not going to tell you what to think, but think a little bit further here. I get the Bitcoin out of the system, I buy the gold. I'm legal now. Now I go legally, I sell the gold and I get euro. Now, if I don't want to sell the gold that I bought, if I want this 11.7 grams back in my own pocket, then I simply tell the company, I simply tell the company to send it to me and they'll send it to me. And here we do have some, I'll show you what a gram looks like. Have you guys ever seen that, or do you want to see it? And Wendy will just give me one there.
You can see it on the cards, correct? They have them on their actual cards.
Yeah, now Wendy carries it around in her purse. I don't know why she's doing that, See, that's what it looks like. This is an example of what the company has sent us. And we sit here with multiple of these. Okay, can you see that, guys?
No, we can't see anything.
Okay. Okay, now if I turn it around, you'll see that there is the gram of gold. It's a little bit fuzzy. I may have to move it out. But anyway, that's what you are going to get from the company. So if I order those 11.7 grams, I can order 11. You can't order less than 1 gram. I can't order.
If I had that delivered to me in the UK, can I go somewhere and cash it out?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to any gold place any gold place that takes gold, they will take this card exactly like it is, and they'll pay you 1 gram for that.
Has it got like numbers on their stamp that it's legit, or I guess they test it, or I don't know how it works.
Yeah, they will test it. It's a little drop that they put on there, and if the drop turns purple, it means it's pure gold.
Uh-huh.
Okay, guys. So let me just share my screen there. Anyway, so yeah. Now remember this. I'm giving you guys this information now as far as I understand it. I haven't spoken to Harold Zeiss, and if you can attend in America, if you can attend the conference on the 4th of July, go there. If there are any South African people on this call here, you want to be in Cape Town this weekend. Okay, because Carrot Bars or KBC, they've got a big announcement, and they call it a celebration. They're celebrating something. I don't know what it is. It's like a 2 or 3 day event. Go to Cape Town, go there. It will be nice for you to attend if you are really interested in KBC. So just in general terms, if I want to sell my gold, like I say here, I simply go to products purchase. You go here to cash gold. I can get them to pay it out. Just simply there's a process that works really quick. You lose about 12 or 13%. I don't think it's as high as that. I think it's 11%, Wendy. But I'd rather pay the 11% than 50% tax, just saying. Okay, so we're back to Bitcoin, Boris.
Yeah, thanks, Marius. What I was thinking, and I like to do this with stocks too. So whenever a stock hits all-time high, I would look at the retracement, and I use Fibonacci retracements. Are you familiar with them? I'm sure.
Yeah, I am.
So what I did, I took Bitcoin. If you go to a weekly chart, it'll be easier on Bitcoin. So what I've done, I took Fibonacci retracement tool from here.
Do you want to share your screen and just show us?
Sure, if I can. I have all kinds of things on it though.
Yeah,
Sure,
so guys, what Boris is talking about is if you go there to this side here, if you go down, you get a thing called Fib retracement. So I'll just stop my screen and then you can go ahead, Boris.
It's very useful. So let's see if I can share. I guess it's disabled for me to share.
Just gonna have a look on the bottom. Everybody can share. You should see a green button there.
Yeah, no, I click on it. It says host disabled on my screen sharing. It's you. I guess you have to allow it.
Let me just see. Just go back here. I think I need to make you a co-host. Just give us a second there, guys. I think I just need to be in share mode first, and then I'll make him co-host. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Boris, let me just find you here. Boris, I typed in billionaire instead of Boris.
Maybe that will be me one day. That would be nice, Mario.
So you just accept co-host.
Okay. Okay.
And then you should see the green share button and see if you can share.
Okay. Good. All right. So I think you guys can see it now.
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Okay. So I've got all kinds of things here. Don't worry about these flags and these blue diamonds and stuff. So what I've done, I took the high, which was close to 20,000, but 19,800 or 700 and change. And this Fibonacci retracement tool, and I took the lowest point, which we had around 31.22 or so. And it gives me these levels of Fibonacci, which is very important. There is a 0.786, 0.618, which is critical, 0.5, and so forth. So let me see if I get move it out. It's hard to see here. Can you guys see it?
Yeah,
So
we
right
can see.
here, let me just remove this because I was trying to see where I would buy again. So let me see. So right here, 0.236, which is at 7,058 or so. We could call it 7,100 level. This is a Fibonacci level, which could act as a resistance in case Bitcoin drops further. And this also coincides somewhat with your Python Y, which I think you have it around 71 or 7,200 or so.
Yeah,
So,
that's interesting. Yes, that is about 7152. Interesting. Okay.
Right. So this also helps because this is a Fibonacci level, and then these things work. From my experience, they're magical lines of price lines and percentages. So I was just trying to see where I would buy again, and I would love to add right here. But you also mentioned that if it falls through it, it could go all the way down to 4,500. So that is kind of all the way down there, and this would cause retracement of over 50% for Bitcoin from recent high, which was 9,000, about 9,100 from here. We also have these two lines crossing. This is I use 20 and 50 moving averages, and there is a cross here which is bullish. This was very bullish, and we also had rising volume right here along the line. Same with price. We also had volume. So this is very bullish looking chart. So my only concern was, or I guess not as much concern, but just I needed to figure out for myself where I would buy again. And I'm really looking at this right here, 0.236. If it gets there, I would buy. I would just probably start buying here. But it's just me. But I just wanted to point out that it coincides with your Python Y axis.
Yeah, that's very interesting, actually. And see, we work it out according to algorithm data, and I barely use the fib retracement. Now, remember, guys, the fib retracement is actually really important. The pyramids were built with fib retracement. Everything in the world lines up with Fibonacci retracement. Go and study that and read up about it. It's not just in charting. So it's a really magical number in real terms. And we pay very close attention to that, although I just don't use that much. And let me see if I can just bring something up here. Okay, I can't bring that up now. Anyway, guys, are there any other questions? I'm just looking now at the retracement of, you're right, Boris, is actually lining up with that Python Y axis. Really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, this is perfect. This is Fibonacci level as well. Yeah.
Wow, I only see that now. So that Python Y axis, let me just share my screen here again. Guys, so we may be onto something here where the low point, and it lines up actually where I said the Python Y axis is going to create support. Now, keep in mind that this can then still drop to that Python Y axis. If we see this drop here on the 20th, between 20 and 25, coming down to the Python Y axis, and if I see a break of the Python Y axis, because according to what Boris has shown now, the Fibonacci shows it mustn't drop below that. But if it does, the whales will push this down. And that is where you need to understand that there could be a drop, guys. And don't fret and don't worry about that, because we believe it will come back. There shouldn't be a drop. In this point here, if a drop happens there, it's manipulation. Our data doesn't show any drop there. But I've picked it up where the whales have now moved in certain wallets where they want to try and sell cryptos. They've moved money over. They're getting ready for something. It's crazy how we starting to find these things now. It took us a whole year to get this data now. And Roger, thank you for the information you sent through too. That helped a lot. Guys, is there any other specific coin that you guys want to go through?
EOS?
Yeah, let's go back to EOS.
Did you cover it already?
No, not yet.
Okay.
EOS. Now remember this, guys. Let's go back to the left-hand side of the chart here where we spoke about this high point here. That one there, 15 October 2018, and then the 20 July 2018 high point. Go back and read the top 40 crypto report. Although the date is outdated for the crypto report, the data in there is still valid. I should actually prepare a new one, but the data will be the same. Maybe I should just update one and put it up there. But the latest crypto report of last month used that. Okay, so what has happened is EOS came here to that point there. I didn't sell there. We said, let's wait for the second point. It came there. That's where I sold, and I tweeted it out. And I just came back here. I moved some of that over to Bitcoin, Litecoin, but I've just went and bought back EOS. Now, very interesting with EOS here, you can see here that this MS52 line, that line there, has created the support exactly on the dot, like literally on the dot. There's some other coins we went through as well that did it. So now what we are going to expect is an upwards movement in EOS. It's going to do exactly the same, this coin, guys. It's going to go sideways like this into this little pattern. I don't know, there's not really a technical term that I know of that we can use to call this. You may want to say it's a bullish pennant, but in effect it's not really. So this one here, in my opinion, could perhaps be here at the low point. It could go up to this point here, somewhere about 15 June, hit the point of $8.31. If you trade that, I will sell EOS at that point 20%, and I'll come back here and buy it here at the low of 24 before it goes up, comes down, and then breaks out here on about the 17th, the week of the 17th. So this is how I see EOS. EOS is a great coin to farm and add because it's a strong coin. One of the things I want to take your attention to is look at this Python y-axis, okay, and look at that cross there. Now I'm going to go back to Litecoin now. I'm just going to be very slow so that the screen catches up on your side where you are and the rest of the world. But I want to take your attention to that brown line crossing the Python y-axis, which is that one there. Now let's go back to Litecoin and see where Litecoin is. Look at that, guys. Litecoin has crossed there, and EOS is following Litecoin. Litecoin had made this jump. You are going to see a jump in EOS, and you're also going to see a jump in Bitcoin Cash. Don't sell on that jump. Don't buy the jump. Just sold. There's nothing to do really. You know, if you go back to EOS, for the next, let me show you here now, for the next few months, if you want to go on holiday, this is a typical time where you go on holiday. You go away and you come back. There's nothing to do. You simply hold. If you hold, you're not going to be in trouble when you come back. But look at this, guys. We're going to have to stay here another 36 days. It's going to drive people mad. And we are prepared with our staff here now to handle the questions. Why is nothing moving? Why is this not going up? Oh, I'm losing money. Oh, Satoshis are not catching up. This is what's going to happen in the next 30 days. You know, you can literally now, if you want, play the next game. If you're risk adverse, in the next 7 days, we are going to move up till about 12, 13, 14, 15 June. At that point, you can sell if you're not going to go away on holiday. Maybe, Wendy, you and I should go back up there in Mululuba, again to our favorite beach there, and just for a few days. And then as it comes down here, you sell 20% on that high. Now remember, this is across the board. You can almost do it with every coin now. Sell there 20% and come back here and buy it back on the between 20 and 25. You've now increased a hell of a lot. This is farming. But if you don't know what to do, guys, and you can't handle that pressure, because remember, you may sell there and then suddenly it goes up a little bit higher. You simply just need to wait because it is going to drop, and then buy back here on the low. I tend to tell most people, because most of our members all around the world are people that don't really know about day trading, and they're not interested in that. They're here for the long haul. This is why I created this chart here, the Bitcoin chart, to give people the long haul and say, simply ride out this wave. Don't care about this big drop here. As a matter of fact, when it drops there, I'm ready to buy. I placed orders on Bitfinex and Binance to buy Bitcoin at $5,000. If it hits that, it hits it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I simply just get my money back. So but prepare this to go sideways, and it's going to break out here. I can tell you now that my data is, I hope I'm right, guys, that this will break out. If this breaks out, you're all going to make a hell of a lot of money. I may have to increase my membership to $1,000 a month. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, Marius.
Don't scare us, Logan.
Hey, Marius, I came across a training video from another guy who had a really cool indicator I hadn't used before. If you go in, you're on TradeStation, right?
Yep.
If you go into ADX and DI.
Oh, yeah, I know about the ADX, yeah.
And that was pretty fascinating to see how that really is spot on top, where the bears are in control, where the bulls are in control. So yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but pretty interesting for people if they want to follow it.
Yeah, so what you're talking about, I think it's called the ADX indicator. But just remember, Todd, the ADX indicator doesn't tell you, it won't tell you what's going to happen in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But once the process has played out, you then go back, then it will show you what has happened. There are multiple of those indicators, guys, but there's nothing in the world that can show you clearly what the future path of Bitcoin or cryptos will do. And this is what we do. We've got a program that we designed in C++ as well as Python. It's a combination of the data. Now, C++ is what Microsoft uses to develop their own software. So we've managed to do that. We incorporate and pull in all this data, very complex data. I don't even understand how it works. I just went and set it up. And how the software does it is just really amazing. And it was by accident that I actually found the mathematical equation. You must have that. And I can explain to you one day what happened, how I found this magical equation. And it just seems to work. Now, it's not 100% correct. We won't make all these calls correct because the reason is we are working with 1,000 different cryptos. You will never, ever have it correct all the time. But what I say, I want to keep my membership affordable at $24.95 a month because I want 1 million people to access this data. If 1 million people make $1 million and more, man, I'll be so happy. We want to keep it affordable so that everybody gets it. Now, I'm off track now. I don't even know what I want to say. But anyway, so our data is worked out in the background, and it kicks us out these models that can potentially project the future price of Bitcoin. And then we get Litecoin and other cryptos. And we just now, you will notice that last year, we only did Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. But now we're starting to get into ADA. I mean, I don't know of any other entity that provides services like this, where we provide a long-term look at 20 or 30 cryptos. And we can go through all of them if you want, and I'll provide you the time of the day to do it today. And also, guys, if you've got questions, come back on the webinars. It's very difficult for us to answer all these questions during the week. We don't mind doing it. But it's just, with 10,000 members all around the world, it's becoming really difficult. So if there's any other coins, we're happy to go through it. So
yeah,
anyway,
if I could just comment.
Yeah, go
Marius,
ahead.
this is Mark in Houston. Like Boris, I like to back out, look at the weekly chart to get a calmer perspective. And I use the Fibonacci numbers. And after your video a couple of weekends ago that you did, it was probably Sunday morning for you. It was a really good one. It was about 20 minutes. It started to get clearer to me, and I went back on the weekly chart, and you were using, I think, 5 EMA.
Mm-hmm.
And Carolyn Broden, the Fib Queen, she uses 8 and 13. And the Bollinger Band is 21, and those are all Fibonacci numbers. So I did each EMA individually and then drew a straight trend line on it. And when I went back and then opened it in the daily view, the chart followed very closely just above and below those trend lines from the weekly chart.
Mm-hmm.
So the magic that I saw was similar to music where chords harmonize. The golden ratio is a harmonic in nature. That's why it repeats. We focus on it as a digital number and try to get our head wrapped around it. But in nature, it's not looking at this as a math, divide, or multiply. It's just a harmonic that merges to itself.
Yeah, Mark, this is really amazing. It's amazing that you say that. Now, when we take our algorithm data, and I mentioned this before, if we convert that algorithm data, high and low points, into musical instruments, it comes out with a 528 hertz. And that is the music of love. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's the color of green also.
Yeah, guys, this is, I tell you guys now, the fact that we are on this call, man, it's incredible.
Yeah.
The fact that we are on this call, I tell you, people will become millionaires like crazy. I've seen it. I get these dreams of people, you know, having parties on big boats and people becoming financially free, people helping other people in the world by drilling water wells. I see this happening. And, you know, especially for South African people, there's some shift there in Africa. Guys, and I'm borderlining now spiritual stuff. So I do apologize if it sounds a little bit woo-woo, but guys, there's something spiritual in here. If you're a guy, start developing in your gut feeling that spiritual event. You can't trade cryptos without that. There's something magical here. I tell you, I don't know what it is, but there's something here. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Mark. That's really amazing.
Okay. Thanks. You're welcome.
The other coin
yes,
is Vulcan.
I second
Vulcan
that.
coin.
Fibonacci is so powerful. Totally agree. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Mark, yeah, I totally agree. Fibonacci is incredible.
So,
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, it's Roger. Let me just put my headphones on here so we don't get any feedback. And can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, then I can hear you too here now. Good. So I'm confused on Litecoin. I mean, we were talking the other day there, and it's okay. So anyway, so I sold some, and now it's spiking. So for the next few weeks, is it going to go up or is it going to go down, Litecoin?
I think Litecoin is going to follow the exact pattern of Bitcoin. And I'll draw it on you again. And it's going to follow this exact same pattern as, that could be a little bit lower, as Bitcoin Cash as well. It's a little bit ahead of the curve here. But let me just use the ABC. So Roger, we believe that just looking at it now, it's going to do this, that. It could break out here a little bit higher, but eventually it's going to come down here. It's going to go do this, and here on by July it's going to do this. This is what I am banking on. We didn't have that spike. It's like I said in the beginning, we didn't have that spike up to 135 and 151. But that doesn't matter because it's going to happen just a little bit later. It's going to happen here.
Well, I was anticipating. I mean, because like I say, you know, I've always just bought long term before. I've never really sold. Okay, let's try to get into your method here of swing trading. Okay, well, it looks like it's going to go down. Okay, we'll sell here in anticipation it's going to go down, and then we'll buy more when the price is lower. So what you're saying there now, it looks like it's going sideways now. It's not really going down to $80 or something.
No, because remember this, as the market moves up, and this is why we can't put a blanket approach on. I can work at every single coin till the end of the year, and then I'll give it to you. But that will be outdated by the end of the year, because remember, every week there's new influences. There's new things that changes. This is why a subscription service like this is important, and that people, I tell you now, the people that watch every video and contact me, and you know, we have a lot of conversations and read every single report and study this, are making a heck of a lot of money, even more than me, because I'm busy preparing reports.
Anyway, that's good. get him to contact me, because every time I sell Bitcoin, the price goes up, and I'm so pissed, right? That's why I've hodled for the most part, right?
Yeah, but this is why I say, if you,
so it's like, and this was a big decision. And it's like, so that's what I'm wondering. Like, is it going to go down? Like, okay, so I want to put the money back in. Should I just put it back in, take a little loss, and just wait for that 3,000 that we're anticipating eventually?
yeah, exactly. This is what I said, guys. Look, some people sometimes feel they've got a bad luck or a bad streak. I used to be like that too. It always used to feel that when I sell, the market goes up. Once you get into rhythm with it, and you're going to have to watch a lot of videos, get into rhythm, burn it into your mind.
I do. It takes a lot of time, and I take notes, right? So finally, I wrap my head around it. Okay, hey, let's do it. And so I'm just wondering, okay, and of course we see a lot of volatility, and of course we saw these green candles going up. Now the big green candles going down, or big red ones going down. Okay, that went up. Maybe we're gonna have another one going down. It's so volatile in cryptos. I mean, I understand that. So just put the money back in then.
Yeah, okay. If you want to put money back in now, okay, look at this now. Okay, Bitcoin dropped from that top there, it dropped down to the bottom. Now, did you sell everything, Roger?
No, I only sell part of it, right? Fortunately.
Okay,
right?
at what level did you sell it?
Well, it was 2 days ago, I think we spoke. And I was worried about that. It's like, hey, we got a big drop. Hey, often it spikes again, but all right, let's sell it. Sure enough, it's turning around.
But wait a second. If you sold 2 days ago, you would have sold here on the bottom. And remember,
exactly.
I send out updated reports, and I said in the video, I say clearly that we are going to come down to the Python y-axis. That was when we were high here before the drop even happened. And we said if you sell here on the top 20%. But if you sell in a downtrend, you never ever get out completely. But if you sold here on the bottom, it's not a big problem. I wouldn't buy now because you're too high. Look at what this chart is saying. The chart is saying that we could potentially come lower. And remember this, if Bitcoin were to drop, we could go lower.
Well, and that's the question, like I say, in the next few weeks, are you anticipating? So like that C there, if we're looking down, we're looking just under $100 there, right?
Yeah, this level here, this Python y-axis is now creating support. Now think about this here. When we were here on the chart on 22 May, there was a probability that we could go low as well because it broke through that and it didn't want to break through it again. It came back. Now at that point, weeks ago, days ago, we said that if it drops, it's going to go down to 80. Now we had that big move upwards. Now, of course, you are lifting your drop, you're lifting it up. I remember when Boris actually asked us at that point months ago, when I said that we're going to hit 189, and Boris said, how far do you see the drop? And at that time, we said, well, in our data, we see the drop from that level. We could easily retrace back to about $60. But now we don't see it anymore because of these strong trends moving upwards and because of new influences now coming in, like the Python y-axis, which now is creating support. Because remember this, Litecoin couldn't break through the Python y-axis here. It couldn't even break through there. It's always 5 times that any coin tried to break through. And when it breaks through, it now creates support. Let me show you here. Have a look at Litecoin here. Litecoin broke through the 3B algorithm. It went down. And look at that. Exactly right down at that dot there. It created support.
Mm-hmm.
Bang, and it shoot off.
So you're thinking the Python Y support. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Right. And this is what we said, because if you go to EOS, this is what I said there. Look at that EOS. It created very nice support there. Can you see there, although it broke through, it's still creating support and moving upwards.
Right. So do you think it'll come back down to the Python Y in a few weeks?
What, Litecoin or?
Litecoin, yeah. I'm only worried about Litecoin.
No, I don't think it's going to touch that. Look, what's going to happen, what I think, the Python Y is going to move like this, and then it's going to go upwards here. And then that brown line is going to go like this. So the Python y-axis will always be underneath it. But what you're going to find is that this green line is going to move up here underneath the brown line. that is what you're going to look at. So you create like a double. It's like when you fight in the military and you've got to say a bulletproof vest on. That green line is going to be the bulletproof vest for the Python y-axis. So once that happens, it's day over for Litecoin. It's going to go up to extreme high points. We're at the verge now. Let me just make that brown. We're at the verge where something is happening here and it's going to break out. It could look something like that, Roger. So now Litecoin still has to, Litecoin is not going to come back. Let me show you again Binance, BNB. It's going to look like that. And I said in the beginning, if you want to follow something, follow that. Let me just get that. Okay, see what happened here, where it broke out? Litecoin is going to do that. And then all these other indicators are going to be way below. So Litecoin is just at that point now. So is Bitcoin. It's going to break out. And this is why I say that we're into an upwards trend. You don't need to worry about buying and selling Litecoin. You know, this is actually what I'm looking at now. You know, why just take the risk, you know, because the market could go higher in Litecoin. Just simply buy. I would buy Litecoin and just hold it. Some other coins, I can take the risk. Now, okay, let's quickly, let me see if I can take out all these indicators. Okay, let's go here to maybe the 6 hour. Now remember this, these indicators don't work anymore now on 6 because they're a little bit different, and I just need to take them out here. Okay, now maybe I need to go to 4. I know somebody's cooking food there. Listen, guys, I'm just going to do this and then we'll stop recording. With that person, let me just mute everybody here quickly again. Okay. Okay, now I'm on the 4 hour chart. Now, if you look at the blank canvas chart, okay, number one, the first thing that we're going to do here, maybe make it a little bit smaller here. Okay, the first thing here is that line there. I'm going to make this black. This is what I see in Litecoin. Just for you, Roger, so you can see what's going to happen there. And this one here is on that bottom there. It's going to move something like this, perhaps. That one will actually be elongated. This could actually go a little bit longer. And I'm going to take into account now where we are now. That is June. Yeah, around about there. So what I see in this now, let me get this quickly done. Yeah, sorry, it's going to take a bit of time. The high point is about there, more or less down there. It's going to go up to that point and then down here. That's your E.
So a little bit lower in a few weeks. Okay.
No, it's heading upwards.
No, but
where it is now, yes.
Point E is lower than where you are now in a few weeks. Okay, so you're thinking around maybe June 16
yeah,
or
but
so. Okay.
Look at that. All right. Look at that, Roger. $3. Okay, so it's very little. So this one here could potentially actually break out first before all the other coins break out. But what you need to have in every single, okay, when it breaks out upwards, you have kind of like this in every single section. Okay, and when it breaks down, it's going to do this, this, and this. This is if you want to be technical correct now. It did the same here, Roger. Look at that, you know. It broke down there, there, there.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this one here. It went up there, down there, and up there. Okay, and I think everybody understands that, you know, everybody has got a little bit of information here. So that's what it's going to look like. Now the time frame. Okay, here's the Python y-axis coming upwards. So the timeline now for this drop, or where the low point is going to be, in Bitcoin, it's going to be about 20 to 25. So it could be that this extends and goes further right to that point. That could happen. and then we have a low point, and then I believe that Litecoin could go a little bit sideways. It could even drop here and then go sideways like this. And come here, somewhere around this time, it's going to do this. So now what I want to show, the reason I'm showing you this is why would we want to really with Litecoin play around, selling, buying low? Just get back into it. Maybe wait here for the 20th. It must have one more low, either this point E or point C there.
Sorry, tell me again. You're thinking point B or point C there, right?
Yeah, point C. Now we can't put a date on this, Roger, because remember we have to go and see what the market is going to do. Yeah. But I do believe the low point in all cryptos are going to be around about 20 to 25 of June. The high point of all the cryptos, and we have to go back to Bitcoin to do this. The high point of all the cryptos here, let me just make that bigger, is going to be about the week of the 17, 18, around about there. There we go. That's the high point. See this date here, 18 June? That's the latest high point. It can start dropping here 15, 16, 17. But that Monday or Sunday, Monday, American time, bang, it's going to drop. Not big. It's just going to move downwards. It's not like a big drop that you have to worry about. Guys, this is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for everybody that attended.